Namaste. Most of you know who I am, especially the adults here. But for the young ones who may be wondering, what is Grandpa doing on the stage? My name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. I was born in India on October 2nd, 1869, and I died on January 30th, 1948, shortly after India became independent. That I am here today may be a figment of your imagination or a touch of magic by my dear Rani David. But I suppose I will be around for as long as you have me in your hearts. I have lived through some of the most difficult times of India's struggle against British rule. My heart fills with joy to see how India has grown today. The advancements in technology, the access to education, progress of women as vital members of society, and above all, a country awakening consciousness in the world. I am very proud. But I am also deeply saddened to see that much of this has been achieved, often without the guiding principles of truth and morality. In my struggles, I have always insisted that the means must be true to the goal. To me, purity of action is as important as the goal itself. And adhering to the principle of truth was more important than victory by any other means. To achieve freedom, we struggled, not with the might of our strength, but with the strength of our determination and our moral code. That the world took notice of us then was not because we were superior in numbers and that we could have crushed our enemy with our physical strength, but that we had the courage to resist and with our moral strength to remain in the end worthy and deserving of the freedom that was so dear to us. Today, I have two simple messages for you to reflect upon. The first is poverty. Poverty is the worst form of violence. There is nothing more potent that can destroy the will of a human being to hope, to endure, to struggle, or to survive. I ask you, as a nation, have we done enough to alleviate poverty? You may say that through education, the lives of the poor have been greatly improved, but India still lives in her villages, and the terrible poverty there can only be removed if their local skills can be revived. In my days, farmers struggled against the demands of the British landlords to grow indigo. Indigo was used in dyes for cotton clothes. When Britain moved away from cotton and turned to polyester, the indigo was no longer needed. Nobody would buy them, and the poor farmers were left to starve. My heart is heavy to see the plight of the Indian farmers today and the high rate of suicide among them. This has perilled the very fabric of rural India. And what is worse is the primary reasons for the farmers committing suicide in our free India today are no different from what they were in my time. Not being able to pay back debt owed to moneylenders, low and uncertain income due to crop failure, not being able to pay for a daughter's wedding or the last rites of a parent, and not having access to secondary sources of income to survive when crops failed. These conditions were widespread when India was languishing under British rule, and we said we would make it better when we had our independence. Have we done that? Have we really done all we can to uplift the hands that feed us? Remember, the true measure of any society can be found in the way it treats its most vulnerable members. The second is ethics. In our pursuit of progress, what is our moral compass telling us? Are we on the path of truth? Do we trust those who represent us in government? Do we care enough to stand up and resist when we see dishonesty and intimidation around us? In my struggles, whenever I despaired, I remembered that the path of truth and love has always won. There have been times when tyrants and murderers seem to be invincible, but in the end, they always fall. Satyagraha was my main weapon in my struggles. Peaceful, non-violent resistance to injustice against all odds, even death. We used it in our salt march to the shores of Dandi and the violence at Darsana, where more than 350 peaceful protesters were beaten down by the British, but they did not yield. We knew the consequences of resisting the British might could lead to imprisonments, harsh punishments, and even death. But we stood steadfast in our moral strength and resistance until, in the end, we drove the British away from India. I ask you, has the sacrifice of so many of your forebears led to a nation that can be proud of its moral fiber, socially, professionally, politically, and ethically? What can you do to make it better? Be the change you want to see in the world. I wish all of you happiness in the freedom you've been bestowed. May you seek fulfillment in the path of good moral standards and honest effort. Namaste.